God, please, no! No!
Hello and welcome to Indelible Gaming. I'm Tommy and today we're going to be playing some Call of Duty Black Ops 3 for the Xbox One. It's a pretty interesting and awesome game. There's a lot of action that happens in it. I go a little more negative than I normally do. I die a lot more, but it's super interesting. I think you will really enjoy it. I'm also going to explain why I've been gone for so very long, but thank you very, very much for the 800 subscribers. I truly appreciate it. So without further ado, let's dive into this game. Alright, so here we are inside the game. I am using an XR2 with high caliber, stock, and rapid fire. Anywho, the reason why I've been gone for the last month or so is because I moved to a different state and I was helping my parents move as well. They were selling their house that they've been living in for the last 20 or so years. It was an old house. There were a lot of things that needed to be repaired, so they were able to get top dollar for it. We redid the whole kitchen. We also did a lot of work to the deck and a plethora of other things, and that took the vast majority of the time. But enough about the boring stuff. Let's dive into the actual story, which is pretty interesting if I don't say so myself. Some crazy things happened. Alright, so it's moving day. The movers are supposed to show up at about 8 or 9 a.m. in the morning, but instead they ended up showing up at about 8 or 9 p.m. at night, so they were almost 12 hours late. My parents have a lot of things, so it's probably going to take them quite a while to move everything out into the trucks. Well, we're getting to the end. They've almost packed everything up, and they come up to my parents and they're like, yeah, so we kind of underestimated how much stuff you guys have, so not all of it's going to fit in the truck that we brought. So they weren't able to move all of my parents' stuff. Granted, they have a lot of ridiculous things and things that they left behind they didn't really need anyways. But, so they underestimated. Also, because the movers were running so late, we hired some cleaners to help us clean the house after everything was moved out of it, so it was in top-notch shape. Well, those cleaners weren't able to do anything because the movers were still there moving everything, so we ended up having to clean the whole place by ourselves. So we didn't end up leaving the house until probably about 3 or 4 a.m. My parents had to be there the next day around 8 a.m. to sign the closing papers and officialize the selling of the house. And then probably about 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. we were going to drive for another 10 to 11 hours to the new state that we were going to be living in. Also, on the way to the hotel, my mom ran over a curb and messed up her alignment on our car, so now she has to get an alignment on our car. Now it's the next day, all of our stuff's been packed, and we're like, oh man, that was totally bad, nothing went to plan there. Well, a few days before that, I also had to sell my car that I've been driving for 7 years because pretty much everything that could possibly go wrong with it went wrong with it at the same time. So I had to sell it for really cheap, and I loved it. She was my baby, and I miss her already. So I had to drive my dad's car, and my dad's car is great when it's in normal condition. It gets great gas mileage and everything like that. But when it's raining or it's snowing, it does a terrible job. Well, we wake up, there's storm clouds everywhere, we check the weather, ends up that the drive to the place that we're going, it's going to be raining / snowing the entire way. And like I said, this car is absolutely terrible in any type of weather, and I've probably never hydroplaned in my entire life for the 2 or 3 hours that I was driving that, and more, because it happened a little bit after that. I probably hydroplaned like 7 or 8 times, which is absurd. That car is just super bad. It's got these tiny little wheels that I don't even know. It's like kid wheels on an adult car. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. So that wasn't fun to drive. Anyways, we finally arrive at the hotel that we're going to be staying in Kansas, which is where we moved to, and ends up the people that were in there right before us must have smoked or something like that, so the entire place just smelled absolutely terrible. So we're kind of pissed off about that, and then my dog just starts throwing up all over the place. So it throws up just all over the floor, so we clean that up, we get another room, and then we go out to dinner that night. We come back from dinner, and it ends up all 3 of our key cards to try to get into the room have demagnetized somewhere along the way, so none of us can get in the room. So we go back to the front desk, we ask them to remagnetize our cards, they do it, we go back, still doesn't work. So we go back to the front desk, the lady comes out to come and help us, she's trying it, she can't get it to work, so then she has to go back, remagnetize it again, and then come back, and then it works. So let's just say the last 2 days have not been the best. Anyways, it's the next day after that, and we're sitting there. My dad rented a U-Haul that also had some stuff in it, and we're about to start unpacking that, but we're going to go out for lunch. So right before we go out to lunch, we're sitting there out in the front discussing, and this guy is driving down the street. He's texting. He's probably going 30 to 40 miles an hour. He runs straight into the back of the U-Haul, totals his car, but the U-Haul just gets a little tiny dent in it. The guy ends up being okay, but both of his airbags deployed and everything. So don't text while driving because you're stupid. The streets probably can fit 4 cars, and somehow there's nobody driving other than him, and he hits a U-Haul. How do you hit a U-Haul? A giant orange truck? I don't know, but he managed to do it because he was texting. Ends up this guy doesn't have a license. He just got out of jail, and he has no insurance. So he's freaking out. He's like, I'm going to go back to jail, so we have to console him, calm him down, and get him to not run away because that's what he's wanting to do. Police arrived, so that gets taken care of. Ends up, my dad just got his subpoena in the mail a little while ago, saying that he has to go to court about this case for a witness or something like that. Spent 60 years in Colorado where he never got called into court at all for anything. He's here for 1 day and he gets called into court. Crazy. So he's super pissed off about that. We're at this new house, so this is kind of a couple days before, but it didn't make sense saying this before now. My parents got a call. They were going to rent a particular house. They got a call about a day or two before they were supposed to move and we were all supposed to drive out that the place that they were going to rent is no longer available, so they had to find a new place. So they searched frantically for a new place. They had 0 time to find a good place. Ends up the place that they chose to rent is going to be $200 more than they were willing to spend, and it ends up being absolutely nothing like the ad. It's completely run down. The front yard is practically all dirt. The backyard is practically all weeds. Lightning hit the garage door, so the garage door doesn't open. It's also super broke down and just raggedy in there. You're probably going to catch some type of disease if you're in there, and if there's any type of severe storm, I'm pretty sure the whole garage is just going to fall over on its side. It's in terrible condition. None of the windows lock. Just the floors are super scratched and dented. There's holes all over the walls. Like, it's not a good place to live, but they have to move into it because there's no other choice. The mover's going to show up. Well, we're waiting for the movers. Ends up the truck that they're driving broke down, so they ended up being about 9 hours late because of it, because they had to replace a whole bunch of stuff, which is good. I'm happy that they still got there, and I'm not giving them, crap for not being there on time, but it's crazy that after everything that's already gone wrong, the truck also breaks down. So once again, they show up late, and because of that, we're moving all kinds of stuff in, and it's super late at night, so we're trying to be quiet. Ends up we get probably 90% of the stuff moved out of the trucks, and then it's like, oh man, like, is this house going to actually be able to fit all of my parents' things? Well, it ended up did, so that was just kind of a panic thing, but it barely did it. They had to kind of make it work. So the movers didn't leave until probably 3 or 4 a.m. And they have this little, on their truck, it's a dolly that moves up and down or whatever, and it makes a whole bunch of noise when it does it. So they're packing up to leave, and they make all kinds of noise while they're trying to leave. So my parents got a super good first impression to their neighbors. And then a week after my dad's been here, he's driving around, and his front right axle ended up breaking on his car. It was thankfully covered under warranty, so he got it replaced for free. But on the day that it gets replaced, he's driving home, it's pouring rain, he gets a flat tire. He goes into his trunk, and ends up he doesn't have a spare because I guess new cars these days don't come with spares, they just come with repair kits for your tire. So he has to repair his tire in the soaking rain and then drive home. And it's just, so yeah, that's pretty much the whole story of the most ridiculous move that I've ever seen in my life. So many things went wrong, but we all ended up arriving. My move, minus helping them, went completely, I didn't have any problems at all. The reason why I haven't really been around doing videos is because I just moved to a new place. I'm trying to find a job, still haven't found one yet. I'm also trying to figure out my way around this new place that I'm living and where everything is, so that took a little while, but now I'm pretty settled in, so I'm going to be spending more time on my YouTube channel. I just want to thank you guys very, very much for the 800 subscribers. I was expecting to be losing subscribers instead of gaining them, but somehow we've gained some more subscribers, so thank you very, very much for that. I do feel absolutely terrible for not being here, but I'm going to be spending a lot more time making videos. I still don't have a schedule, but after I get a job and everything, a schedule will be coming out that I'll be following, so you'll be able to actually anticipate when my videos are coming out. Also, I've been streaming on Twitch a lot lately, still going to probably do that a lot more, just because, especially right now, it's a lot easier just to get on Twitch, stream a game, interact with you guys. It's also a lot of fun, instead of having to get video ideas and edit and everything like that and record. So please come stop by that. I'm probably going to be announcing it on my Twitter when I'm going to be going live, and it's usually pretty late at night, but you can find the link for my Twitter down below, so make sure to follow me on that to know when my live streams are going to happen, and also follow my Twitch page as well if you want to come say hello, because I'd love to see your beautiful faces there. Anyways, that is all I've got, so if you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a dislike, and of course, if you've been following my content for a while, please do subscribe. I will see you and your beautiful face on the next one. See ya!